Hey guys, so I wanted to go live. I had some people ask some questions about what happened and the possibilities of how this stroke occurred, and so I wanted to try to do this in one sitting, I guess, so I wasn't explaining it to 35 people separately. So I figured I would just do it here. And if you guys want to come on, since I am live on Facebook right now, if you want to come on and chat, that's cool. Because yeah, somebody's here. I don't know who's here. Somebody. Let's see who that is. All right. But let me make sure. Yep, I'm on the Wi-Fi. I just want to make sure that I was on the Wi-Fi there. But whether you catch this live right now, because I'm not going to stay on too long, whether you catch it live right now or you catch it later on, feel free to send me a message. You know, so just to recap a little bit, last Tuesday, I had a large stroke to my cerebellum on the left-hand side. Um, it has affected, oddly, it didn't do any of the classic stroke symptoms, so I have no facial paralysis. It did not affect my cognition or my speech, which is great because those are some of the things that I need. It did, however, affect my balance, and it affected, dizziness. So I'm still fairly dizzy. My proprioception, kind of in reality, is a little bit skewed right now. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. I'll show you guys. Let me flip this camera around here. There is my walker currently that I get to use. Uh, and this is my little room down here. This is our guest room in the basement. But yeah, so for now, I'm walking back and forth with the walker. Hopefully, I will be able to start PT sooner than the 14th. But the PT currently, they're talking about, currently I can't get in until the 14th because apparently I need the vestibular clinic that works with a lot of these things that I'm experiencing. And I'm going to have to work with them pretty closely for a while. And so that is kind of challenging that a regular PT or OT can't help me yet. So the vestibular clinic is going to be crucial in getting my brain to connect back to my body and allow me to do the things that I need to do. They are saying that I should possibly be able to make a pretty full recovery. But with that being said, I don't know what that looks like, right? And they also warned me that there is a possibility that I will not. And there are certain things that I will not be able to do after this. So it's always kind of a tenuous thing when you have a stroke. They don't know until they know, like, what your capabilities are going to be at the end of this. So, like, where I'm at right now is, of course, I'm on short-term disability. I'm homebound and bedbound for a little while as I recover, which could be several weeks to several months, depending on how fast my brain kind of bounces back and they can restart all that stuff. It's kind of difficult for me because, you guys know that I'm on the go all the time and I'm always doing all these conventions and out there, taking care of all this stuff. And I am certainly going to have to slow down. I actually have to miss two conventions. Uh, I missed one this last weekend, and then I'm missing one this weekend in Philadelphia. Thankfully, I did not have anything else scheduled into the first or second week of May. So I've got a little bit of breathing room to do some real recovery and work on all that before I need to be back out there so that I can make some money. And so, it's been challenging being faced with, I don't know how many of you guys know this out here, but I was working for Cintas. That was my full-time job, and I was a delivery driver. And I was governed by DOT. So the question is, it looks like that job is not going to be possible for me anymore, because DOT will not give me a license after having the stroke and being a fall risk and all of these different things. So my life is going to change pretty dramatically for the foreseeable future. So, I've had to apply for a bunch of things that I never thought that I would ever have to apply for, but, we'll see what happens and what shakes out there. Very, very scary time, as far as that's all concerned. Let me give you because you guys asked, let me give you guys the causes, or at least what they've determined so far. So at first, they were saying that it could have happened a combination of things, that it was a blood clot in my left side vestibular artery that broke loose, went into my brain, and gave me the stroke. And that was what they first said. And they said that there could be a bunch of different causes for that, that it could be, I did get a chiropractic adjustment the Friday before the stroke happened. But I was also at my Muay Thai class on Monday, the day before the stroke happened, and that I was working out there, and it may have been that I had taken some impact that could have broken that loose and then caused the stroke itself. Now, with that being said, we had, after neurology looked at all of that stuff and everything, they had hematology come in and talk to me. And hematology believes that that was not the cause of it. They believe that it is a good possibility that it was a cardiovascular event, and that yes, there was a clot that went to my brain, but it was because of my high blood pressure. And so that high blood pressure may have been spurred on by sleep apnea, and there is a good possibility, and my wife has noticed this before, that when I sleep, I do snore, and there are times where it sounds like I stop breathing. Now, they said that my sleep apnea may be very mild, because I don't feel tired at all. I sleep just fine. I get restful sleep. And so they feel like it may be a mild form of sleep apnea, but even that mild form of sleep apnea could be driving some of my blood pressure issues. And so even though about 2.5 months ago I got back on blood pressure medicine and we were trying to figure all that out, it may be a large contributing factor to the reason why I had the stroke. So now, obviously, I've got a ton of doctor's appointments and stuff that I have to go to. I've got to go back for CT scans in a couple months. But I'm also going to have to go to a sleep study here soon. And so that sleep study should determine my ability to, if I'm going to need a CPAP machine or whatever, to make sure that I'm sleeping good, and that I'm not stopping breathing, and it's not shooting up my blood pressure and lowering my oxygen level in my brain. So all of that stuff is going on, and again, this is all difficult shit to for a guy who is 100 miles an hour all the time, doing 3 different businesses, working a full-time job, and out there doing all the things. Now I've really got to figure out a way to reinvent myself, and to change the narrative a little bit about not only how I eat, how I do things, how much I can handle, because currently I can't even drive my car. So I have to get cleared before I can even attempt to drive a car right now. So, there are a lot of serious changes that I have to make, both mentally and physically. Where that leaves me as far as employment at the end of this, I don't know. It's too early on to tell. Like, certainly I'm probably not going to be able to stand for 8 hours. So that's going to be out. Uh, you know, am I going to be able to read a computer screen for 8 hours? I don't know the answer to that. I've not even tried yet. I do have a little bit of vision issues. And like I see almost like somebody shined a light in your eye, and that flash is still there after the light is gone. It makes it a little bit hard to read the screen and a little bit hard to see faces and things like that. So we've got to figure out that. Hopefully that dissipates with time. But if not, then I have to go and see some ocular specialist to figure out what I'm going to be able to do with my eyes. Now, of course, that could, even though I can do some things on the computer, that may limit the amount of time that I can do that. So I'm not sure what that looks like at the end of all of this. The great thing is I can still podcast, I can still interview people, I can still write books. Hopefully I'll be able to drive at some point again, especially if we get this vision stuff figured out. And once I can do that, I can get back out there to doing conventions and, making money that way. But I've also got to look for other ways to do that and, open up some doors for my passions. You guys all know about that because you've all been part of it. And so, I'm going to have to figure out how I continue to monetize things that way so that I can have money coming in to survive. There's a lot of factors there. Of course, I have a house, and that is a challenge because now we're faced with, a lot of things around that and the very real possibility of losing that. And we don't want to get upside down. So, so there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of things to be considered. There's a lot of troubled waters ahead. But at the same time, I've always been one to figure it out. I've always been one to push forward and to figure out a way no matter what. And this is no different. I will continue to try to figure it out. I will continue to try to get out there. I will continue to try to do everything I can and live out the things that I love. And hopefully we can all share in that together. But it's certainly not going to be easy for any stretch of the imagination for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know like what was really going on and how this is all shaken out. I am so grateful that my wife is here to help me through this time, and she is really doing a great job of making sure that I'm okay. And there's lots of moments where there's doubt there, and it's difficult, and I feel almost trapped in my own body right now. But it's certainly a challenge, something that I've never ever had to face before, and feeling so vulnerable right now, and feeling like I don't know what this looks like a year from now. And it could be a million times better. It could really get me into the place where I need to be so that I can do good stuff out there. But I don't know that for sure. And it's scary. Just to be perfectly honest with everybody out there, it's terrifying. To go through such a medical event that it radically alters your lifestyle completely. If you would have asked me a little over a week ago if I'd ever be in this position, I would have told you no. And now here I am in this position, trying to figure it out and it is not easy, not easy at all. Uh, but I'm going to do my best. And until my last breath, I'm going to continue doing all that I can. So, you know, I don't know what else to say. Trying not to cry on camera. Uh, but it is, man, there's been um, a lot of tears shed. I was in the hospital, and at the time I couldn't open my eyes because of the dizziness, and everything was spinning. It was like I was on a merry-go-round, and every time I moved my head even a quarter of an inch, just the whole world went around like I was in a washing machine. And so, you know, uh, I was really, I was sitting there, and the doctor comes in, and, this is after I had the MRI, and he says to me, he just came out and said it. He said, I just got to tell you, you had a large stroke. And I said, what? I had a what? And he said, yeah, you had a large stroke to the left side of your brain in your cerebellum. And I thought, what the fuck? I did what? And, before then, I thought that it was, maybe some crazy vertigo shit, and they'd be able to take care of it with, no big deal. But then they kept giving me all this medicine for vertigo and for everything, and it did nothing. The nausea medicine did nothing for the vomiting. And so I was like, there's got to be something else going on here. And then, of course, he told me. And immediately, like, I had that realization that, like, this is it, man. My life is different from this moment on. I have to figure out a way to be indispensable and to be valuable without being able to do the physical side of things. Because even though one of the things that they found in the hospital is that I'm really, really strong, physically strong. And, I can stand on my own. Even though the balance is off, I can walk. It's helped by the walker, obviously. But, at the same time, I feel very, very worthless as far as being able to be as useful as I once was. But I think as time goes on, that'll change. And I think that there's all kinds of stuff that is possible out there. I am so glad that that mentally I am here. And I've seen so many people, like typically older people, not 44-year-old people, but older people go through strokes and they're completely debilitated, and they can no longer talk or have conversations with people or anything. And I'm so, so grateful that that was not the case for me. And Dusty, to be completely honest, if I would have, when I laid down, if I would have went unconscious, and I remember laying there realizing that I got to stay awake, because if I would have been unconscious, I don't think I would have survived. I was so grateful for Hayden being able to get the EMTs down to me and to get me out of the house. I for sure would have been dead. So it's a very humbling experience, and many of you guys don't know me as being very humble, because I'm probably not. But it's certainly challenging, and yeah. But it's I think ultimately we will find the way through this valley, and hopefully there's some good shit on the other side, and I can be part of bringing that to y'all. But I'm going to get off here. My wife is standing here with some food, And I am super excited to eat some food because I'm hungry. And I'll talk to y'all later. I just wanted to give you that update. Some of you had asked about the causes, and so I just wanted to hit up everybody at one time rather than sending out messages individually to people. So talk to y'all later. If you got any questions, hit me up, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks for all the prayers and the support. I certainly need it. All right, see y'all soon.